Good morning, everyone. This is Bonnie from Bonnie's Bargains. I hope you're having a great day and happy Mass Monday. Oh my goodness, this is feeling very good. I didn't want to have you to go through for me to put the mask on and get it all smoothed out. But let me show you what I'm using. It is from K Aesthetics and it is a rejuvenating collagen mask. It revitalizes, smooths, and firms. And it is just a facial sheet mask. And this is what it looks like. And it is feeling really good. I think you leave this on 15 to 20 minutes. So, today is going to be a little bit of a different Mass Monday, and I'll tell you why. I have a friend that I've never met through YouTube, and her name is Chris Scarpati, or Scarpetti. I'm not sure I should know how to pronounce it, but we've never really ever talked on the phone but a couple of times, and I was just calling to see how she was. But anyway, she always says, Bonnie, please tell me some more stories. That's what I like on Mass Monday, is hearing some of your childhood stories. And as you guys know, I was raised poor, and to be honest, my mom, she was my mom, but we were also best friends and almost like sisters, to be honest. We were so close. So almost all the stories I have of my childhood memories has to do with my mom, because she took me everywhere with her. She never wanted me to stay home, and again, we were just the best of friends. So I thought of Chris today, and I said, you know what? I'm going to tell you a childhood memory that I will never forget. You know how things happen in your life, and it's just always there. So what had happened was I was probably between 4 and 5 years old, and my mom came to me, and someone had passed away in her family that I had never actually met. And my mom didn't really get out and go to all the places that she wanted to go or people that she wanted to visit, because she worked at Van Heusen as in the shirt factory is what they called it, Van Heusen, where they make shirts. And she had all kind of jobs, but they had a cement floor there, and my mom would work 8 hours a day, most of the time standing up. I know she used to sew, so she would sit cuffs, but then a lot of the time she had to stand up to do bundles and to do cuffs on a shirt. So my mom did some pretty hard labor things. She was not an educated woman. But anyway, so she came to me and said, Bonnie, today we're going to drive with one of her friends to this funeral of one of her, it was either a family member or a friend that had passed. I'm thinking it was a family member. Like I said, I'd never met this lady that had passed. So she sat me down and she says, you're going to see a lot of unhappy people, and that's just part of losing someone, is sometimes there's a lot of tears. And so she went into this, into what a funeral was like. And she said, I ask that you sit down and you don't get up till Mom takes your hand. And she said, when I take your hand, then you get up with me, and we're going to walk up to the casket. And so she explained all that to me. And I was raised Southern Baptist, so that's just what they do at a funeral. You have this service, and then everybody walks by the casket at the end to show respect. Well, my mom, I will tell you, we didn't have a lot of money, but she always kept a few dresses that when she had to go to things like this, she was prepared, and she dressed to the hilt. I mean, they may not have been expensive dresses, but my mom always made things look good. No matter what she put on, she looked good. She was tall and thin and solid black hair, and her name was Frances. And so Mom got me dressed up in this frilly dress and black patent leather shoes and the little white socks that you turn over and it's got lace on it. And she was telling me how beautiful I was, and I wanted her to put some blush on me, but she wouldn't. No makeup, she said. Well, she came out, she had a red lipstick on. Red lipstick was it, day in, day out. Never detoured from red lipstick, never, because of her black hair. And she, her hair was really curly, and she's like me, or I'm like her. We never could fix hair. And so the one thing that she allowed herself every 2 weeks was to get her hair fixed and get the curl out. So she came out for the funeral looking like $1,000,000. Her heels on, her nice little dress, her hair fixed, makeup, her red lipstick. And I just thought my mom was just the queen, a beauty queen. That's what she was to me. You know, I just thought she was beautiful. She never got her nails done or toenails or anything like that. Just, she did, you know, she'd go to the dime store and get her some makeup. And so she always wore a little bit of makeup. And so the lady came to pick us up, and I just remember sitting in the back seat, and I was thinking, oh, I just wish it was during the summertime. I do remember that. And I was wishing, oh, I just wish I was out playing with my friends. I don't really want to be going to a funeral, but Mom had taken the day off, so I had to go with her because I didn't have anybody to stay with me. So we drive up in the country into this little, I don't know, little wood church, no air conditioning, you know, and it was hot. It was so hot. So Mom says, okay, Bonnie, get out of the car. And so she grabs my hand. So we walk in the church, and all these women and men are dressed to the hilt. That's what they used to do back then. No jeans, had to wear socks, black shoes. Of course, I had my little patent leather shoes on with little white socks with lace. And so I thought I was pretty special, you know. I was looking in. There wasn't that many. Of course, I was trying to spot out the children. And so I was looking around. There wasn't really that many children there. And I was thinking, oh, boy, you know, this is going to be... Because I had no idea how long it lasted or anything like that. And I thought, oh, it's going to be a long day. Long day. And for some reason, usually the family... As you get older, you understand this. It sits up in the front pews, right? Well, we sat in the third pew. I just won't ever forget this. And again, they didn't have an air conditioning unit. And I would say maybe the church would hold maybe 40 people, but had really beautiful brown wood pews, and they had a fan, and it caught my eye, and it had this long string coming down. So in other words, when the people came in the church and it was hot, they'd just pull that string and that fan would come on. Well, my mom, I looked over and there she was, so pretty in her dress, had a little black hat on. It was almost like lace, little lace. And I was so proud of my mama. I was thinking, my mama is just the beauty queen. So all of a sudden, the preacher, that's what they call him, the preacher or pastor. Most of them just calls him the preacher. The preacher came up and started saying things, and I was just looking around. I wasn't really interested in what he was having to say because, again, I was 4 or 5 years old. And that fan had my attention because it was just a going. I mean, and I'm like, ooh, I'm so hot in this dress that Mama put me in. So we were sitting in the pew, and then all of a sudden a lady started playing this music, and they had people singing, and then people just started crying. And I mean crying. And I'm thinking, why would my mama bring me to this place? All these upset people. Because when people get upset, I get upset. So I start pulling on my mom's dress because I was going to tell her I wanted to go outside. And Mom was like, sort of looked down at me and like this. And that meant no. So no is no. So we were all standing up, and Mom was singing, everybody was singing, but then there was just people crying. And so then we sat back down, and then the preacher starts talking again, and my little legs are just, I remember I'm so hot, and so my legs are just one at a time swinging, because I was, swinging under the pew, and I was waiting for Mom to get on to me because I wasn't hyper, but I was busy, I was, how a child is. And so a few minutes later, all these people were crying, and Mom had a couple of tears going down her face, and I thought, well, I wonder if I should be crying. I said, well, I'm not going to cry. I don't have nothing to cry about. So, doesn't that sound so bad? I was like, no, I'm not going to cry. Because my dad always said, don't you cry unless it's necessary. But then my mom, I got it from her, you just cry over everything. But that day, it was just so hot, and I didn't really understand all the crying, all that kind of stuff. But, so, oh my goodness, I'll never forget this. So, what happens in the Baptist tradition is, in a funeral, the family goes up first, the congregation goes up first to go by the casket, and then the family. Well, we weren't family. I mean, if we were, it was, I don't know. So I was trying to figure out, are we getting to go out now, or are we going to have to wait? So these people started walking down the aisle and going by the casket, and people had their little hankies out. And I was thinking, oh, thank you, God. I'm ready to go. And so then Mom grabbed my hand, so that meant it was time to stand up. Well, I'm going to tell you something. My mom was tall. And Mom, we got in the aisle, and we started walking up to the casket. And that fan, that cord caught in her lace hat. And that hat was just swinging, and Mom was trying to catch the hat. When it caught Mom's hat, it just started swinging, and then I guess the wind from the the fan sort of caught it, and so it was it was just swinging back and forth. Well, we had all these people behind us, and Mom was trying to catch that hat. And so she let go of my hand, and I was ready to dart out that door. But Mom, I felt so bad for Mom. You could tell she was so embarrassed. And she had heels on because she loved her heels, and it made her that much taller. I'm just telling you, my mom was probably at least 5'8". And but what made it bad was Mom was trying not to cause a scene, but she was reaching up, she's trying to grab that hat. And every time, well, I sort of looked back, and there was a man sitting behind us. He was laughing. He was trying not to, and he had his head down, and he was laughing at my mama. Well, Mom didn't have my hand, and I was upset with that man laughing at my mama, trying to get the hat. So I walked, he was like on the 4th pew. So I walked back there and I said, don't be laughing at my mama. You need to help her get her hat. She's embarrassed. Now, this was at 4 and 5 years old. I don't have a clue who that man was. And I said, don't laugh at my mama. But you need to help her with her hat. And so the man looks up at me and he said, honey, I wasn't laughing at your mother. And I said, yes, you was laughing at my mama. And he said, no, I wasn't. He said, I was laughing at the circumstance. I wasn't laughing at your mother. So the man gets up there, and Mom still hadn't got that darn hat. So he gets up there, and he's tall, and he grabs it, and then he had to get the cord, the little, it's got this little silver hook on the end, and the hook was down in the lace, and he didn't want to tear Mama's hat. Well, you got the preacher up there taking in everything, and then we're backing up people. So the church, people's going all the way out the door waiting on us to walk up to the casket. It took that man forever to get, because he didn't want to tear Mama's hat, the lace in it, He finally got it, and my mom was so embarrassed. And I said, Mom, she's standing there, and I'm like, Mom, he's going to help you with your hat. And guys, I just will never, ever forget that. It was almost like I was going into a panic attack, but then I was the one in charge. I felt in charge, and that I had to take care of my mama. But, oh my gosh, if you could have seen that black hat with the lace swinging, and us holding everybody up, and the preacher standing by the casket, and the family had already gone out, thank goodness. We spared them that. But anyway, that dear little man that had laughed at my mama, or the circumstance, he got that hat for my mama, and she got that hat. She grabbed my hand. We went by that casket like a fly zone. Bam! I mean, some people would stand there for a minute and probably say a prayer, or, we're going to miss you. I don't know. But anyway, when we went by there, it was like a plane taking off. We went by there. I didn't even, and I guess I'm glad I didn't get to look at who was there. Mom just dragged me out of that chair, out of the church. And we got in that car. My mom was so upset. She was embarrassed, And some people came by the car, and they said, ma'am, you were having problems with that hat, weren't you? And Mom said, yes, I was. And I'm so sorry that I held you up. And this one kid that was with his mother said it was like the flying trapeze. I'll never forget that. And I couldn't help it. I started laughing about the hat being a flying trapeze. And so my mom, on the way home, the lady that was driving the car, she just started laughing and saying, Frances, just let it go. It was no big deal. And you probably saved a lot of people a lot of tears from that hat. Because they probably, you entertained them with, and mom, oh my gosh. When Dad got home that night, Mom told my dad, and we all as a family just started laughing. I mean, we started laughing. You would have had to have been there. I'm just saying. But anyway, that was my first funeral. That was the first time I'd ever seen my mom be that embarrassed. And my dad, when I told him the story, he said, Bonnie, I'm proud of you for taking care of your mother. That's what you should do all your life. And I never forgot that either. Always take care of your mom. Protect her when it's necessary. And so I did. I did protect my mama, and I was going to get that man for laughing. And I'll never forget, he was like, honey, I'm not laughing at your mother. I'm laughing at the circumstance. I remember, it was just like yesterday. I remember all this stuff. And Mom and I, throughout all the years, we talked about that, and we would just laugh. Those are good memories. I mean, what I mean by that, laughter, and how things can happen in a moment. But Mom always remembers me going to get that man, because she said I was never going to get that hat. So that's my story for you today, Chris. And that is a true story. I hope you enjoyed it. That is a memory I will never forget with my mama. God rest her soul. I wish she was with me today. Remember to be a rainbow in someone's clouds today. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope that you have a wonderful day. And always reach out to someone who needs help. And I'll see you in the next video.